The Puppet Master is a brilliant start to the second season of Wings. This is the first episode of the second season, and unfortunately for me, I remembered this episode really well, which is actually a really good thing for the episode because it suggests it's very well written, very memorable. But even though it had been a couple of years since I last saw this, I could remember what was going on. But even with that in mind, I thoroughly enjoyed this. So there will be spoilers as I discuss various aspects of the narrative, and very briefly, because I don't have too many specific thoughts to share on this, but I did really enjoy the story with Roy and Lowell. Roy has given Lowell a walkie-talkie so that he can actually get hold of him whenever he needs to, but Lowell initially leaves the walkie-talkie behind, and then Lowell gets into a bit of a sticky situation and he sings Moon River, and it was just fabulous. It was really good fun, and that also allowed Faye to come into the narrative a bit as she talked with Lowell on the walkie talkie, and it was just a really good fun part of the narrative. The main narrative, the bit about the puppet master, involves Brian hiring an actor to be Helen's perfect man. And the reason he's doing this is because he wants Helen to realise that her no dating pilots rule is not something she can stick to, because this actor is going to be her perfect man and then he's going to tell her that he's a pilot. And the plan from Brian's perspective is for Helen to throw her rule out of the window and date this actor. Of course, there's no way that this could be sustainable because at some point she's going to have to realise he's an actor. But this part of the episode, and basically the whole episode, did not go in a way that anybody would predict. As I said, I remembered this really well from the first time I saw it, so I can't remember exactly how I felt or exactly if I worked out what was happening. But I don't think it's obvious, at least for a lot of it. But I will, of course, now explain what happens. So these are huge, huge spoilers. And Helen initially seems like she's falling head over heels with this guy. It's an actor called Matt, played by Craig Bierko, and Helen smashes her cello up. The scene is brilliant when she just brings this cello out of the kitchen and just smashes it over the counter. It's brilliantly done, and she seems to be really falling for him, and then he falls for her. She doesn't care that he's a pilot, which is what Brian wanted, but she has fallen head over heels in love with him and they're planning on getting married. This is not what Brian had wanted. And then he tries to put a stop to it, and Matt pulls out a gun and gets in a fight with Joe, and then the gun goes off in the kitchen where nobody else is. Helen and Brian are on the other side of the door and they just hear the gunshot. And it is so dramatic, and I can't remember at what point the penny dropped for me that Helen knew something, and I feel like it's so cleverly written. And the fact that the three of them, Joe, Matt, and Helen, were all in on this to play a trick on Brian to get him back for trying to play a trick on Helen is just so fun and so creative. If I had to guess, I'd say smashing the cello could have been a giveaway, but for me, it happened a little bit later on. I think probably when they were talking about marriage. I think that's when it becomes maybe a little obvious. But I don't know, if you watch this for the first time and you can remember, or you can identify when things started to change for you and you started to realize that Helen knew more than she was letting on. I'd love to know. I honestly can't remember. But either way, even though I could remember now, I really, really thoroughly enjoyed watching it. The Puppet Master is a brilliant episode. And as I said, it's a really solid start to the second season. The next episode is amazing. Easily one of my favourites. Absolutely love it. Won't say any more than that now, but I'm really looking forward to rewatching it. But for now, I'm very happy to have watched The Puppet Master. It really is a brilliant episode.